Good morning, nakap, everyone. We will continue talking about the if and nested if that we learned from last class. Nakap. On the last class, we started talking about the if function. Let me just share you my screen. Nakap. So everyone, you just open up your Excel file. Nakap, the my first book file that we used from the last class. Nakap. Okay. Let me just see. Okay. So on the last class, I introduced you the if function. I introduced you the if function. You can see that whenever we have to start the nested if, sorry. Hang on, sorry, I have got a message from you. The recording of last week video will be uploaded today. Will be uploaded today, just finish it on yesterday. Sorry that it will be just a little bit late, lag for around 1 week. Okay, but I try to just minimize number of the lagging time. I try my best to just upload within 1 or 2 days after the class. Okay, now let's come back to talk about the if function. So last time I introduced you for the if function. It's the function that we use in order to make a decision from the condition that we have got, or from we call it as the logical test, to test on some criteria that you want to know, that you want to evaluate. And after that, it just return the result. It will return the result on the cell that you just specify the function. So in this one, the syntax of the if function, if and basic if, we have the same syntax of the function. We just use the if as the standard function for evaluating the logical value or logical test. So the if function, we need 3 arguments inside for both basic if and nested if. For the basic if, let's see, it's just the same as the syntax that you see in the if function, the standard if function. We begin with a logical test, followed by value if true and value if false. Logical test is a test or evaluation of some value according to the criteria that you want to have. For example, if you have a look on the first example that we had, it was we check for the day. If the day is Wednesday, you just give $10 to your brother in this example. So you can see that the logical test in this example, you have to test whether today or whether a specific cell is Wednesday or not. In case that the specific day in that cell is Wednesday, then you have to specify value if true. Otherwise, that means if the testing result doesn't show the Wednesday, you have to do something else instead. In this one, you can see that we just say that, okay, the logical test is we test C5, C5 here with the word Wednesday. So bear in mind that when you have to test for the text, normally the text must be surrounded by this one double quote symbol here. So that is a text. So in this one, we are comparing the value here in C5 with the text that we enter here. The symbol that we use to symbolize the equality is equal in this case. You say that if these two values are the same, Wednesday and Wednesday, comma 10 means that value if true, we just show 10 in this cell. Otherwise, we show 0 in this cell. So, and then you can see that in this example, we when we compare, you can see that C5 is Wednesday. So that's why it's true. When it's true, it returns 10. While the next cell that you see, it's Thursday is not Wednesday. Okay, so in this case you can see that when we compare Thursday and Wednesday, they are not equals, so that's why it shows 0 instead, because they are not equal between these two values. Okay, so when we talk about the first example already, that was the comparison between text. In term of comparing text like this one, like this one, we use the symbol equals, for text we use equals, or we use not equal, not equal. While the next example that we had on the last class, you can see that we would like to find out the commission rate. So when you have to do any exercises, or when you have to do any exam, you have to read the word problem properly. For example, in this case, you are asked to find commission rate. What I found in the past was that when I asked the student to find the commission rate, when we talk about the rate, it must be percent. Some of the students did like they find commission amount instead. Actually, I don't want to know the commission amount in this example. I want to know the commission rate. That means you just like specify 10%, either 10% or 5%. That is rate. That is enough. In this one, you are asked to find the commission rate, and the condition that you have to test, in this problem is that you have to test sales amounts, whether it's more than 1 million baht or not. You can see that the sales amount is located in column B. Let's see for the commission rate. For the commission rate in here, we will use the if function to test. When we use if function to test, so firstly you have to compare, in this line it is B16, right, for the commission rate. Sorry, for the commission amount that we have, B16. So you have to compare B16, with the condition that we have got. Either it's sales amount that is more than 1 million baht or not. So you have to compare this value with 1 million baht. So in here, you can see that we have like B16 is more than 1 million baht in here. If yes, logical test is yes. Value if true is it shows 10%. Otherwise, it shows 5%. This is the comparison. When you compare the numbers, normally the operators, that we use to compare the numbers, we have greater than, less than, greater than or equals to, we write like this, less than or equals to, equals or unequals. These are just like possible values that we use to compare the numbers. It's different from the previous example that we compare text. We have just equals or unequals only. Right. So this one, we compare like this. And I told you that, one tool that can help you, in order to compare and formulate this if function, in case that the if function here is the comparison of the numbers, is that you use number line to help. When we use number line to help, okay, in here, you can see that when we use number line to help, you just see that, okay, what is a logical test in here? We want to test the value with 1 million baht. So you just put 1 million baht here, as one spot, in the number line. And for the money, you can see that when we talk about the money, for sure, the minimum number in this case is 0. So if you go to the left-hand side, from 1 million baht, if you just like stick to 1 million baht, if you go to the left-hand side, it means it's less than. On the right, hand side. If you go to the right direction, it's more than 1 million baht. Okay, now we use the knowledge, the basic knowledge that we had from mathematics to help. You can see that in this case, we say that commission rate will be given as 10% is if the sales amount is more than 1 million baht. The important keyword here is more than 1 million baht. So that means when you draw the number line in here, you have to draw number line that is more than 1 million baht. For more than 1 million baht, we use the white circle like this, and we put the arrow to be on the right hand side. The arrow put to the right. That means it's more than 1 million baht. So you have to see now we have the value that is 1 million baht already. Then you have to fill up this number line. How do you fill it up? You have to fill the value that is not more than 1 million baht. When we talk about not more than 1 million baht, it means less than or equals to less than or equals to 1 million baht, so that we can fill up this whole number line. So when it is less than or equals to, if you want to include 1 million baht as well, because not more than 1 million baht, it means less than or equals to, then the circle here will be filled up, means that we include that 1 million baht as well and lower. Sorry. And lower. Okay. So this one, it means that the second line, the second line here means that it's from 1 million baht and less. So less than or equals to, while the first one is greater than 1 million. When you get this one already, you have to prepare the if function that covers on the whole range of this. My suggestion when you see the number line which consists of just two lines like this like on the screen that we have got here, we just write the logical test for one line. That is enough, because the other one will be value if false immediately. So that means because in this line it consists of two possible ways. When it goes to one way, you just have one values, or on the other way around, you give another value in here. So that's why in this example, you can see that when we just prepare this one, we compare the sales amounts with 1 million. And I said that I just stick to the range number one here. It's greater than 1 million. You give 10%. Otherwise, you give 5%. This is the way that we did. Okay, right. When we have got this idea already, in this one you did it for me on the last class to get the percentage of the commission rate that we need to get. So in this one, please fill up this table for me. Okay, here. Let me clear the drawing first, then fill up. Okay. So I would like you to filling up this commission amount for these salespeople in this table. the word problem, I just like type it for you in the chat box already นะครับ so just fill up the commission amount ครับ I give you 1 minute ครับ to fill up commission amount. This is easy นะครับ just do it now ครับ everyone. Okay, times up. So to calculate commission amount is so easy. You just multiply the commission rate นะครับ by sales amount, just that, and then you just copy this formula. Okay, this is what we have for the sales, sorry, the commission amount that each person got it. Okay. All right. Okay. So when we have got the first example, sorry, not first example, it's the second example. The first example was about like the money that you gave to your brother. Now I would like to let you do the example number 3. This one I want you to practice on this if function. Okay. So in here, okay. Let me just have this one for you. Okay. Assume that this is what we talk about, the timetable that we have got in each day. Class, can you tell me normally which day in the week that you don't have class from weekdays? Can you type your answer? Okay. Right now, many of you type for me that Friday you try to reserve your table. Sorry, you reserve your schedule not to have class, right? Okay. Then we aim on Friday. When you say that Friday you do not have class, the things that I want you to do, I will set up another column. Okay. And after that, I want you to fill up this table, whether you have class or not. If you have class, you show, like for example, you show I have class like this. Sorry, I have class. I have class. I have class. Otherwise, I want you to show that I have no class like this. But I want you to use if function to justify whether you have class or not. So in here, this is the word problem. This is the word problem that we have got. Okay. So use if function, everyone. I want you to try using if function, to fill up this table. Okay, so everyone just do it. I give you 3 minutes to complete this. Just 3 minutes to complete this because it's an easy example. We will do other things after this in this table as well when you finish this one already. Okay, you just start doing it now ครับ 3 minutes please. So the way that I do นะครับ in here we know that we have no class on Friday, right? Normally if you just like do the basic if, you may just like check Friday นะครับ with the day in the column B นะครับ but in this one assume that I just put another set of cells นะครับ to enter the day that I don't have class, sorry, that I don't have class, and then I use the relative reference นะครับ in order to compare นะครับ in the if function, so that if I just like in the next trimester, if I say that okay, the day that I have no class is on Tuesday instead นะครับ I will just like change in the yellow cell here instead of changing in every single cell นะครับ that I have the formula. Okay, so in this one นะครับ I will just like compare นะครับ the date. In this one we say that okay, now let me see if B24 if B26 equals to Friday have yeah, the way that you did นะครับ for Pantikan and Pocharapon, they are correct นะครับ okay, so in this one I just put equals to if นะครับ. For my suggestion, whenever you have to write down if function นะครับ you better type it instead of using the function builder box นะครับ or the insert function button นะครับ because for the if, especially for the nested if, you have like many logical tests นะครับ then if you just like use the standard insert function box นะครับ it might make you confused นะครับ. In this one I say that if นะครับ the day in the cell B26 in my case equals to and then I have the value in the cell J26 here. I have to lock the cell as well because on other days I have to compare with J26 then value if true, I said that I have no class. Otherwise นะครับ value if false is I have class and then close parenthesis. You can see that in this example นะครับ in this example when I just like copy this formula down to other cells นะครับ on Friday it will show that you have no class, right? But if on the next term your day off change to be Tuesday instead. Okay, you can see that right now นะครับ Tuesday นะครับ will show that it's I have no class instead. When you have to write down นะครับ the function if with the text, the things that you have to be careful is when you write down the text นะครับ it is important นะครับ you can see that in this, let me just like show you the example นะครับ you can see that everything looks correct,นะครับ. The function is correct นะครับ we compare the day in the column B นะครับ with J26 นะครับ, and the answer should be shown as either I have no class or I have class. Yeah, that should be correct. On cell J26 I enter the day that I have no class as well. But how can นะครับ how can Fridays it shows I have class นะครับ. This is the thing that you have to be careful. Very be careful if you have to manage or if you have to just like use the function to compare text. The things that you see is that นะครับ even though they look correct นะครับ they look correct, but the error is caused by the text that I type in นะครับ. So the text that I type in are either day in column B or the day in J26 นะครับ, and then now let me show you. Let's have a look up on my cell J26. You can see that it's the Friday with a space นะครับ. The space is sensitive นะครับ for comparison because Friday on the column B นะครับ if you have a look, it doesn't have a blank space after Friday, and you can see that in here นะครับ in J26 is a Friday is a blank, so that's why when you compare these two two values together, they are not equals นะครับ so that's why it show I have class because it's not just the Friday, it's Friday space. Now let me fix it. If I delete one empty space out นะครับ now it shows the correct answer already. So you have to be careful นะครับ firstly you check with your formula first. If your formula is correct already, then you just go back to check for every single cell that you store the text inside. Okay, right. Okay, when you say that you have class on every day except Friday already, the next thing that I want you to do is that I want you to fill up another column with catch. I want you to find the catch that you need to use on each day. So the problem will be like this. Okay, let me just like copy the word problem for you. So in this example it's the extension of the previous example it's example 3.1. We said that on the day that you have class, you withdraw the money from ATM machine for 1,000 baht. Otherwise, the catch that you withdraw is half of the amount on the day that you have class. I want you to fill up, not for my one, sorry, I have to change to be column D. Fill up column D using if function for the cash that you have on each day. So class, I want you to fill up the column next to have class column. It's a cash column by using the information provided in this one. Okay, so what do we get? For example, the output that you will see is that you get like 1,000 and while the last one you get just 500 because you have no class. Because it's the half amount of money that you have class. Okay, so just do it. I give you 3 minutes. The things that you have to be careful about this example is that you have to interpret and do the problem solving according to the word problem that we have got. You can see that in the word problem that we have here, it said that withdraw half of the amount of the money. Half the amount of money means that you have to divide 1,000 by 2. Don't enter 500. Otherwise, it will be wrong. Okay, you can start doing it. My suggestion is that you may add another set of cells to enter the amount of money. So just in case that in the future, if the amount of money that you have to spend on the class day is more than 1,000, you can just change in this cell straight away instead of change in the formula. Okay, you can start doing it. And if you get the answer already, please type your formula in the chat box. In this one, we have to compare. Sorry, let's see in the example in the word problem first. We say that okay, we will withdraw the money from ATM machine for 1,000 baht. Otherwise, half of the amount depends on the day that you have class. So that means in this column column D, we will show amount for 1,000 or for half of it. So the output or value if true or value if false in here will be 1,000 and then I'll use J28 as a result or value if false, it will be J28 divided by 2. นะครับ okay that is the value if true and value if false นะครับ now before I just like write down the formula นะครับ let me just like suggest you for นะครับ sometimes when I just like have to write down or formulate the if function and if the if function is just like quite complicated. I will not type directly in Excel นะครับ but the software that I just like suggest you to use is Notepad นะครับ Notepad function sorry Notepad software นะครับ in what to say in on Windows but if you use Mac นะครับ you may use the apps that is called text edit นะครับ the text edit they work similarly นะครับ okay in this one นะครับ I just like use Notepad okay ครับ this is Notepad okay so I then I just like start typing my formula here นะครับ okay so the formula here okay okay we need to have if with logical tests ครับ comma value if true comma value if false นะครับ and then close the parenthesis actually นะครับ the original formula we put everything in the same line นะครับ but in here นะครับ when you just like prepare it in Notepad you can just like press enter so that you can see the functions นะครับ easily for every of its argument นะครับ then I said that value if true of my one I give J28 นะครับ as a result นะครับ otherwise นะครับ we said that we give like half of that amount on the day I said that then it's J28 divided by 2 and then I just like block the cellนะครับ okay now for the logical test is a time to formulate it นะครับ it's a time to formulate the logical test you can see that in order to formulate the logical test in here นะครับ okay this one be long นะครับ we say that okay on the day that you have class then you have to think you have two different ways to do นะครับ in order to find the day that you have class you may compare the day with นะครับ the cell J26 again or somebody may say that can I compare the column C I have class or I have no class นะครับ and then just like show the logical test in here นะครับ so you can do both นะครับ let me just like do two ways for you and then you see how can we do it นะครับ you can see that from what your classmate type นะครับ they compare with column C นะครับ whether they have class or not นะครับ if they compare the text นะครับ in each cell in column C นะครับ with I have class นะครับ and then the cache will be as shown as here ครับ okay so now I just like do what your classmate did first นะครับ in column D I replace the logical test with นะครับ these values นะครับ firstly on Monday I just in the cell D26 นะครับ I just type that okay if C26 equals to นะครับ I have class and then I just give value J28 otherwise it will be J28 divided by 2 นะครับ okay in here when I finish I just copy this นะครับ when I go to Excel นะครับ instead of paste directly you double click on the cell first นะครับ you double click on the cell so that it will be the cursor blinking here and then you just start pasting ครับ then you just start pasting so that you can check it before it's really just like calculate for you okay in here it's the formula is like this it compares with the J28 in red color here okay for the cache that you receive yeah okay now let me try you can see that on the last day นะครับ I get just like 500 baht let's say Okay, this is my formula นะครับ the first way that we did นะครับ it looks like this. Okay, the next one นะครับ okay, the next way in order to do this นะครับ it's similar. I just put catch as well, but right now นะครับ but right now instead of comparing with the column C's value, I'll just like go back to the original way. I compare with between the day and the day that I have class or I have no class. I know the fact that okay, when it is I have no class, it means that okay, C I just have to compare B26 with J26. If both of them are equals, means that it's the day that I have no class, right? Okay, I have no class, right? If B26 equals to J26 day and I have no class day the same day, in this case, the answer or the value if true and value if false will have to be switched a bit, because if it is the day that you have no class, the day you have no class, the amount of money will be divided by half of the amount that you should receive on the day that you have class. Okay, what if I don't switch? What will happen? Okay, let me just lock the cell first. Okay, in here you can see that it will become that, sorry, let me undo first. Okay, here it will become that on Monday you get 500 only, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as well you get 500, while Friday you get 1,000. This is wrong. The correct one must be like the day that you have no class you get half of that amount. So what makes this logic wrong? The things that make logic wrong is that for the logical test here, it tests for the day that you have no class. So that means if you have no class, the amount that you have to receive will be J28 divided by 2. Otherwise, you get J28 or 1,000 bahts. This one will be the correct one instead. So in this one, when I copy already, I just paste the formula into the cell. Okay. In here, you can see that you get the same answer as the first way. As the first way. Okay. Right. Okay. You may just like copy and paste the if function with 3 lines, or you can just like make it to be 1 line like this. Both of them are okay. But I mean, some of the people when they have used the software like the notepad like this already, and they test already that okay, the function is correct, they will just like modify this display a little bit by just like make all of the formulas arguments to be in the same line, and then they paste it again. Okay, this is a formula that we have got. Okay. Right. Okay. Before we move on to the next thing, that is the nested if, do we have any questions about this example? Okay. So if you don't have the question now, let me move on to the next subtopic that is about nested if. That is about nested if. Nested if, as I told you earlier, nested if is similar to the basic if. Is similar to the basic if, but it is the way that we have like many logical tests, many logical tests in one cell, in one cell. So you can see that the thing that we studied before was that in the logical test you have just one comparison only. So that means you have seen just like one operator in here. You compare equality, นะครับ in the previous example about like the commission นะครับ about the commission you can see that we compare นะครับ we compare just like one logical test and then you see just one operator as well นะครับ to compare less than or equals to something like that. Now let me show you that in what situation นะครับ in what situation that you may have like more than one logical test นะครับ one logical test นะครับ in your problem so now we start talking about nested if นะครับ one example นะครับ that can that will let you see นะครับ the problem easiest is about the grade นะครับ is about the grading you can see that for the grading นะครับ suppose we are talking about like what to say pass and fail grade even we say that okay we have pass and fail grade นะครับ or in MUIC it's OSU grade something like that OSU grade okay let me just show you this one assume that นะครับ we have to calculate the grade นะครับ in this way we have the range of the score like this we have the range of the score like this for any students who get less than 60 นะครับ it fails 60 to 80 is pass 81 to 100 it means good in this case you can see that we can't use the basic if anymore because the possible answers are either fail or pass or good นะครับ we have more than 2 possible ways นะครับ for example if you see that in the previous example we say that okay we have like Friday only นะครับ that you have no class somebody may have the question that what if I have no class on Friday นะครับ and Tuesday what should I do you can see that the basic if doesn't work anymore นะครับ then you have to use the tools that we call it as nested if นะครับ so in this one นะครับ I just want to show you that okay in this example this nested if นะครับ how do we gonna solve it this nested if you can see that it's a comparison นะครับ for the numbers นะครับ in here it's a score นะครับ in here is the score so when you have to compare the number like this นะครับ if we have the score of the student like this นะครับ now you can see that we have students นะครับ we have students with their score นะครับ for the student and their score this one will be used for testing นะครับ okay now you have to set up the criteria first นะครับ and also we have to formulate the if function first before we just try to fit them into this table นะครับ okay you can see that in here assume that I use column C นะครับ in order to enter the grade in here นะครับ when you have to just like use the if function to justify the grade นะครับ in here assume that I talk about the grade of Alice first the grade of Alice is in cell C44 okay this one นะครับ we will put the if function here นะครับ but before we talk about the if function here นะครับ let me just like tell you when you have นะครับ to use if function doesn't matter whether it's basic if or nested if the logical test that you have to test is about the number I suggest you to use number line to help because number line will tell us everything about like each range of numbers นะครับ and its output as well นะครับ okay now let me draw the number line again นะครับ so that I can fill up all of these possible values นะครับ okay so for the grade sorry for the score that student นะครับ can have it is from 0 นะครับ to maximum 100. Right, okay, I draw a number line like this. After that, you can see that we have like some possible range that we have got. You can see that in here we have value 60, 80, 81, and 100. These four numbers. I will write down these numbers into the number line. I'll plot as the spot. In here I have, so sorry, assume that this one I have 60. The next one is 80. You can see that for this one we have 81 as well. If you have two numbers that are like stick together, are like continuous number like 80, 81 like this, we will use the symbol like greater than or equals to, less than or equals to for representing the continuity of 80 and 81. So I don't put number 81 here. The last number is 100. Okay, then I just like put the number like this. The next thing that we have to do is that we have to put the range representing by the line with the circle, with arrow with a circle. I mean, the first one we talk about the fail grade, that is the range that is less than 60. So it's 60 or less in here. When you exclude 60, you have to use white circle. Okay. After that, you draw to the left hand side in here. So any score that fall into this range will be fail grade. Okay. Next, the next one from 60 to 80. That means we include 60 as well. You have to use the dark circle, the field circle here, to represent 60. To 80. To 80 means that you include 80 as well. So you have to use dark circle as well to include 80. Next, 81 to 100. Because we don't see, I don't write 81 here. 81 means a value that is greater than 80. I put the white circle from 80 to 100. 100 here, I include 100 to this dark circle here. So right now, we have three ranges of the score already to justify the grade. The range number 1 is fail, range number 2 is pass, and range number 3 is good. Depends on how student get it. How do you gonna change this kind of number lines to become the if function? You can see that when you consider the basic if function, it's in here. The basic if function, you can see that the basic if, we have just one logical test only. But in this example, you can see that we have 3 possible range to be tested. That okay, the score fall into like one out of this range or not. How can we just like use the if function to help? Okay, so let me just like show you the nested if function, the syntax for this example first, so that you can see that whether it will be like this. So in this one, let me just like write down the standard format first. How do you gonna formulate the if in here? When you have 3 ranges of values, or 3 possible values to test, so you just start with the logical test 1 first. Okay. if it's true you enter you enter value if true, value if true for the range 1. Otherwise, if it's false, you may just like start with logical test 2. If logical test 2 answer can be reached, you enter value if true 2. Otherwise, somebody may say that you will test on the logical test number 3. And value if true 3 and then value if false.
อาจารย์ครับ
Yes ครับ
your screen is freezing.
Oh really? Oh sorry, this one ครับ Okay, do you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks similar to this one but inside the logical test and the value if true and value if false can be adjusted according to the problem that we have got. This is one example of the if with logical test when you have like three testing. Or sometimes somebody say that my testing is different. I will say that okay, because we have, hang on, because we have like here because we have like 3 possible range like this one fail, pass, and grade. Then if it's not fail grade, it's not pass grade, then it must be good grade. Then in this example you may do like this you may say that okay, I just test for either value if true 1 and value if true 2 only. Otherwise it will be the last grade like this. So it's possible as well depends on your testing and your considering of that problem. I will show you first how you're gonna do it in this one. So for this example, the score that we have to test for Alice is in B44 it will be B44. It will look like this okay. In here I'll just like test the first, I'll test for the first range first I said that if B44 I test with the first range. If you remember the number line that I draw the number line that I draw is that I start from the value, the first range that is less than 60 I say that if B44 is less than 60 then this person will get fail grade.
อาจารย์ครับ
Yes ครับ
มันฟรีซอีกแล้วครับ
Again. Oh okay. Now do you see it?
Yes ครับ
Okay, sorry about that Okay, now let's see let me do again. Okay, I said that I have to test the score in B44 with the grading criteria here first it's B44. I want to test it with 60 less than 60 according to the number line that we draw before. In here if it's true if it's true means that the score is less than 60, this person will receive fail grade. Otherwise if the score is not in this range, we go to the next range the next range is that the score is between 60 to 80, right? So in this one, okay, how do you gonna formulate? Let me just like the number line that we have got 0, 60 80 and 100 นะครับ we test the first one already that is less than 60 นะครับ the next range that we have to do is that we have to do between 60 to 80 นะครับ that is dark circle only. So what are we going to do? The first one we test already less than 60 is in hereนะครับ. The next one when you have to specify นะครับ is that it's less than or equals to 80. This one how and why do we have to just like write down or formulate it to be value is less than or equals to 80? Will it conflict with less than 60 or not? The answer is no, because we said that, okay, if you remember that I told you for this oneนะครับ, I told you that, okay, when I say that, okay, value if true I do something, value if false I do another test. Value if false in here means that if the B44 is not less than 60, not less than or not less than 60 นะครับ if you have a look or not less than 60 นะครับ not less than 60 it means it goes to this direction, right? Okay, then we test again whether it goes to the second range or notนะครับ. So in this one we say that, okay, we do นะครับ compare that, okay, whether the value is less than or equal to 80 or notนะครับ. In this one it means the second range that you have to testนะครับ, in here less than or equals to 80 or notนะครับ, in here. So when you just like calculate this alreadyนะครับ, less than or equal to 80 means that you just like include the whole rangeนะครับ, in here, include the whole range in here. Now when you include the whole range in here already, anybody whose score is in this rangeนะครับ, is pass. So in here I say that, okay, this person will receive pass. But ifนะครับ, it's not fail or pass, what grade that this person will get? For sure we have just 3 grades. If this person doesn't get fail, doesn't get pass, then this person will get good grade. In this one somebody may say that, okay, good, like thisนะครับ, because it's value if trueนะครับ, in the third one, because you don't need to check anymore. We have just 3 grades only. If not fail, if not pass, that means this person will get a good gradeนะครับ, and then close the parentheses. Or somebody say that, okay, I want to test everything. What should we do? You can see that in here we can still test the third oneนะครับ, we can still test on the third one. This one you can see that somebody may want to test this range. That means you have to test the value that is less than or equals to 100. Okay, less than or equals to 100. In this case, this person will receive the grade good. Okay. Okay, in this case, when we get this one already,นะครับ, you may just like do this kind of thing,นะครับ, B44 is less than or equals to 100, then you get good. Okay. And after that,นะครับ, lastly, if you remember, we still have like the last oneนะครับ, this is value if true 1, value if true, value if true 3, and then we still have like false as wellนะครับ, value if false, what we will get in this one we may say that it's errorครับ. But in here you can see that if you have a lookนะครับ, on our possible grade and also on our number line already, you can see that it covers everything alreadyนะครับ. the way นะครับ the only thing that will make this one to be impossible is that if the score is more than 100 this one is wrong because the full score นะครับ the maximum score is 100 you cannot have further more than 100 in here so that's why we say that in case that somebody just like mistyping the value you show error grade input let's say error grade input so that you know that okay it's out of range นะครับ that you enter the value in here so that means either the second one and the third the first or second one นะครับ both of them are correct to get the grade นะครับ to get the grade in here now let's see นะครับ let me just like copy this function for you in the chat box นะครับ okay. Both of them are okay นะครับ but if you use the first one นะครับ if you use the first one and the users enter 101 นะครับ it doesn't show anything นะครับ it doesn't show anything or somebody may just say that okay in this one you can see that we have value if true value if true 1 value if true 2 and value if true 3 นะครับ in this case you don't enter any error message right so that means you don't have value if false if you don't have value if false what will happen your cell will show nothing on the screen นะครับ so it's just like show the blank cell instead if you don't set error in grade input นะครับ because if you enter 105 let's say it's not in these values to range at all นะครับ in this one okay let's try I will copy this formula นะครับ I'll copy this formula and enter into my cell first นะครับ in here when I paste นะครับ I double click and then paste like this okay do not just copy and paste straight away นะครับ the reason is because if just like do it straight away it means that it will cause a problem a bit นะครับ it will cause a problem a bit in here okay let me just check it said that okay there are like something wrong นะครับ let me just like delete the blank นะครับ first okay here and then I press enter it said that you've entered too many arguments oh I forgot something นะครับ in this one because in one if you can have like one comparison only นะครับ and in this one b44 is less than or equals to 80 here นะครับ it is the logical test นะครับ it's not value if true so that's why when you need to have the logical test number 2 here you have to start with if again นะครับ let me just type first it's if like this นะครับ okay and then I close the parenthesis here นะครับ and close the last parenthesis okay it's passed นะครับ okay now let me retype it for you นะครับ this first one นะครับ okay. because we need to have the if นะครับ to test นะครับ in the second range okay so that means in the same way if we have the second formula นะครับ or second way to write it down นะครับ in here here the second one must be fixed as well นะครับ the second one must be fixed as well because you can see that the second one is logical test as well then you have to put the if inside here นะครับ and the third one you also need to have if as well and after that you start closing the parenthesis like this okay now let me test on my cell first and then I just like copy this function for you นะครับ okay now let's move back to this one you can see that in here นะครับ okay we have the grade for everyone already. Now let's see นะครับ I will just compare this one with the number line that we have got นะครับ you can see that for the first person นะครับ hang on, this is fail, second one is pass, the third one is good. Okay, now let's see นะครับ the first person Alice she got 60 here นะครับ you can see that this person has to I mean her score match with the second range in here because 60 นะครับ 60 is here, it's a dark circle here, the dark circle is pass นะครับ mean because it includes 60 in this range. Yeah, so Alice get pass, that's correct. Now we check for John get 80 is still in the second range นะครับ because you can see that the score of John here it's 80 and we include 80 into the second range here, so that's why in here it's pass as well นะครับ that's correct one. Now let's move on to the third person นะครับ the third person that is Lucy she get 85 นะครับ 85 you can see that 85 is in the third range already นะครับ is in the third range already, 85 is here, so this one the third person Lucy should have good grade, yeah that's correct นะครับ and the next one is Mandy get 80.1 นะครับ 80.1 in here, 80.1 is over 80, right? It's over 80 นะครับ it's here 80.1, so the grade that Mandy should receive is good, yes, yeah, and in the formula it shows good. Lastly Jim 80.5, it's here, he should get good grade as well, yeah. Then and in the formula it shows good นะครับ the result of the formula it shows good, so that's why in here the formula that we wrote in here is good, that is correct one นะครับ this is the first formula that I showed you นะครับ in the notepad นะครับ in the notepad in here. Now let's try, what if Alice get 105, what will happen? If you remember I told you that I didn't enter นะครับ I didn't enter the value if false in this problem, in this formula นะครับ. so in this one if Alice get 105, you can see that in here it seems that it shows good, what's going on นะครับ what's going on, why Alice นะครับ why Alice get good นะครับ you can see that in here นะครับ if you have a look on the function first, the function said that okay if B44 is less than or equals to 80 is passed, otherwise it's good, means that anything that is not less than or equals to, that means the value that is greater than 80 will show good, that is wrong, because actually the maximum one must be นะครับ must be 100 only, not over 100, so that's why you can see that every score นะครับ from 0 นะครับ to 100 everything is okay นะครับ they are correct, but if you have enter นะครับ the value that is greater than 100 it will be the error immediately. In this case it shows it shows good instead นะครับ okay, so in this one how do we gonna fix the problem? In order to fix this problem we found that the score that make this one to be wrong is the score that is over 100 นะครับ. then you have to just like specify นะครับ you have to specify the possible values นะครับ when the score is over 100 here นะครับ in here นะครับ you have to show the error. What should we do in order to show the error here? Let me switch back to the notepad ครับ and you can see that in here นะครับ you can see that instead of writing down นะครับ instead of writing down instead of writing down the basic if like this นะครับ to be past and good like this we need to enter another if in here if b44 sorry b44 is greater than นะครับ 100 then you have to show error instead นะครับ this should be the way in order to detect the error นะครับ that may happen okay now let me just like use this function นะครับ in the Excel once again and see what happened นะครับ in here let me just insert this new if นะครับ in here here it shows error I show error input error score input in here นะครับ it will show like this instead let me just like type the text for you in the chat box in here the last one is used to detect the error นะครับ okay when we get this one already นะครับ I just like copy this formula down and then let me see what happened oh I need to have I just like missed one thing it must be good grade too oh okay I have too much the good shouldn't be put here okay it should be like this let me just try first oh okay it's finished already it works I just entered the wrong thing นะครับ okay let me type the correct version here okay the last one is the correct one นะครับ so what I did was that okay if you analyze นะครับ for what I enter previously and it made this problem to be wrong นะครับ is because in this one if you have a look นะครับ what I did was this you can see that I enter นะครับ if b44 is less than or equal to 80 นะครับ pass นะครับ in here and then I enter good in here and then I put comma นะครับ and then I put if again so this one was wrong it's simply because in here if you have a look นะครับ you can see that okay this is value if true of this condition and good is value if false of this condition how can I have another if นะครับ because it's finished already I have value if true value if false นะครับ and then it should be all in here นะครับ the things that we need to do is that okay I have to fix the problem in here when I fix the problem นะครับ you can see that okay value if true okay and value if false here นะครับ just have a look you can see that in this one นะครับ for logical test number 1 ครับ this is fail is value if true นะครับ of this one and the rest of them will be value if false of the first condition นะครับ in here after that I go to the next one I say that okay I have another if b44 is less than or equal to 80 this is the second logical test so pass is the value if true of second logical test and the rest of them นะครับ the rest of them are the value if false of the second logical test นะครับ then I also test again นะครับ if it's false นะครับ that it means that in here if b44 is greater than 100 I show error score input นะครับ but in this one we say that okay else นะครับ it shows good means that if the score is not less than 100 นะครับ and it's not less than or equal to 80 นะครับ if you remember, I draw in the number line that in this case นะครับ in this case ครับ if the score is not less than sorry if the score is not greater than 100 it means that if the score นะครับ is less than 100 less than or equals to 100 in this case นะครับ less than or equals to 100 goes to this side. And in this case, I said that, okay, it is not less than or equals to 80. It means that it's greater than 80. That means it falls into this range. It shows good นะครับ in my case. That's why in here นะครับ you can see that we have the answer นะครับ we have the answer for this one that is for anyone who get like more than 80 or than or equals to 80 and less than 100 we get good grade like Lucy in here นะครับ because 85 นะครับ because 85 is greater than 80 นะครับ but less than 100 that's why it shows good like this นะครับ so in this one it is the basic example of the nested if นะครับ easy example of the nested if but anyway how can we just like make the nested if นะครับ to be easier than this to be solved another tool that I suggest to you นะครับ that you may use is like we may use the flow chart to help นะครับ we may use the flow chart to help together with the number line นะครับ together with the number line. Okay, I'll show you in the next example นะครับ in here. So in here นะครับ this is the first way that we use นะครับ in order to use the nested if to solve this problem นะครับ the latest one in the chat box is the correct one already นะครับ in this one that means we also check นะครับ we also check for the grade นะครับ that is like also we have to check for the value that is greater than 100 as well that it must be the error นะครับ otherwise it might be possible that the user may just like enter some value wrongly นะครับ and the if function may not show the error like that so that's why in this case we have to put error score input as well นะครับ in this case okay so when you have this one already นะครับ when you have this one already the next thing that you have to know นะครับ is that ครับ we can also apply นะครับ we can also apply this score sorry this basic knowledge from nested if นะครับ to fix the problem as well นะครับ to fix the problem as well but before นะครับ we move on to the next example นะครับ everyone I just want you to try on the score นะครับ on changing the score a bit นะครับ assume that Mandy นะครับ Mandy sorry John okay for John you can see that okay if the score นะครับ if the score is greater than นะครับ 80 นะครับ this person นะครับ should get greater than 80 this person should get good grade right and you can see that in this one Jim get 80.5 he get good grade too นะครับ he get good grade too so that means in this one when you have this นะครับ you have to be careful sometimes นะครับ in some version of Excel the if function นะครับ might work differently a bit นะครับ some of the if function นะครับ some of the version in Excel นะครับ if function doesn't round the value for you for example in here for someone who get 80.5 นะครับ some version of Excel may show just pass grade นะครับ it doesn't show good grade why is that the reason is because some version of Excel would like you to just like make sure that the score 80.5 นะครับ should be rounded or not in this one you can see that for for the score นะครับ that these people get นะครับ it's automatically rounded นะครับ for example นะครับ let's try if Alice get 59.5 นะครับ if it's not rounded 59.5 this person will receive fail grade like this one นะครับ like this one so in this one นะครับ in this one so you have to be careful that okay for Alice นะครับ in order to make Alice to get pass grade what should we do the way that we should do นะครับ is that okay let me just like move out this cell okay I should round the score first นะครับ I should round the score first how do we gonna round the score properly นะครับ this is the thing that you should do especially if you have to consider the score that need to have something that is the decimal point like this the way in order to round the score นะครับ or round the value is that we are going to use the round function นะครับ how do you gonna use round function let's have a look in the insert function box ครับ just type round นะครับ this is round function round function use just two arguments only the first one is the number that you want to round the second one is num digits นะครับ for example I said that for the score that we have on the nested if นะครับ that we use all of them are the integer score นะครับ then I have to round this score to be 0 number of digits that means I don't want to have the decimal points in here นะครับ assume that I want to round Alice score okay I put Alice score here นะครับ digits of the decimal point I don't want to have decimal point here you can see that the intermediate result of Alice score show as 60 right in here okay and I do the same thing with other people okay after that instead of evaluating the score in column B I change to evaluate the score in column C instead so that it will be the evaluating of the rounded score already and then I just copy the formula down in here you can see that for Mandy should get just pass grade only because the person who received the good grade must be 81 and above นะครับ must be 81 and above and everything will be done correctly in this case let's see that if Jim get 80.4 what grade he should get he get just pass only what about 80.6 yeah he get good grade okay I put the all one okay now okay actually Alice is 60 right now let's see if I say that okay yeah this one is correct already what about like the John if he get 100.1 this one will be rounded down to be 100 นะครับ this person will get just good grade but if he get 100.5 it's error yeah that's correct already ครับ this is like what we did นะครับ okay let me just show you the round score in this example นะครับ I use round ครับ B44 comma 0นะครับ this is my round function ครับ and then I just like change the comparison of the grade into round box instead into the round cell instead rounded score cell instead okay นะครับ so this is the first nested if example นะครับ up to this point do you have any questions ครับ anyone we are still in the nested if นะครับ okay so if you don't have any question นะครับ I want you to try by yourself นะครับ when you just like have time นะครับ before we meet each other again on Wednesday นะครับ I want you to just likeนะครับ calculate the nested if function นะครับ try to just like try to understand how do we gonna formulate the nested if to find the grade by yourself นะครับ prepare another column นะครับ and then just like write down the if function the nested if function and compare whether it's correct or not นะครับ just do it by yourself in here if you don't understand anything just feel free to ask me นะครับ apart from that one on Wednesday I will introduce you the tool that is the what to say flow chart how can flow chart can help formulating this one easier so that I can just like show you the way to fix this problem and then when we finish this one I can assign you the proper assignment นะครับ for the nested if because we can just like do many of more assignments นะครับ in the e-learning that we are going to have okay right before we finish the class นะครับ just want to let you know นะครับ this morning I just like call to Ajahn Veera นะครับ who is course coordinator and responsible for section 1 to section 3 นะครับ and then we talk about the midterm examination day นะครับ our midterm examination day will be on Saturday the 30th of October นะครับ the end of this month นะครับ it's last Saturday of this month 30th of October from 1 to 4 p.m. นะครับ I will also announce on Sky and also in our line group as well นะครับ for our midterm examination 30th of October 1 to 4 p.m. The examination will be done online นะครับ so every of you have to prepare webcam นะครับ and microphone to be ready in the exam there is no excuse นะครับ if you don't have the webcam on the score will not be marked for the exam นะครับ so make sure that your score นะครับ make sure that your device is ready on the exam day นะครับ and on the examination day นะครับ we will use another platform not the Zoom นะครับ it will be WebEx นะครับ that I will introduce to you next on นะครับ and the submission นะครับ or getting the final or getting the examination paper นะครับ you have to do it on e-learning using your own account นะครับ so do not just like use other people account for accessing the e-learning on exam day because once you submit you have to submit using your user ID นะครับ because when we mark the score we will mark according to the ID นะครับ that is specified in the e-learning นะครับ okay so now you still have time to prepare นะครับ okay so that should be all for today ครับ everyone